There is a new organization solution at Michael's that I have been dying to try out. Hey y'all, I'm Elisa, the Scrappy Wife behind scrappywife.com, and this time of year is all about organization. I am so ready. I always get so pumped to get everything organize all the things, and that includes my craft studio. So at the end of last year, I was shopping at Michael's looking at holiday things, and I noticed that they have a whole new pegboard system with all kinds of tools. So I thought today I'm going to run to my local Michael's. I'm going to see what they have in stock. I'm going to buy all the things, and we're going to take them home and test them and see how they might function in our space. So I thought I would bring you guys along. We're going to head on into Michael's, see what we can find, and yeah, let's go test out some pegboards. Here we go. Y'all, this is absolutely the perfect time to be shopping for organization solutions. All of the stores are going to have all of their organization items out, ready to go, often on sale, because this is the time of year when we're all considering getting everything in order. So head on out to the actual store. I definitely suggest shopping in person for some of these, just because it can be really inspiring to see some of the setups. So here is the display that caught my eye a couple of months ago, and I'm super excited to give it a try. Love, love, love seeing everything that they have. Plus 40% off is always going to be a big plus. The first thing you're going to want to pick out is the actual pegboard. I saw a few different colors, a black, a gray, and a white. They did not have the white in multiple sizes, so I had to just go with the biggest size, but that was going to work out well for me anyway. I definitely wanted to try a little bit of everything. You may want to make a plan in advance before heading to the store to see what it is that you want to organize on your pegboard. I knew that I was going to be doing some different jewelry making things, some pieces that I use to make planner charms. So I had a little bit of an idea, but I knew I wanted some pieces to experiment. I didn't have a definite plan. This was going to be all about experimenting. And I thought, let's pick up pretty much one or two of everything so that I have things to play with. If I don't end up using it, I can always return them to Michael's. I love that they had these clear acrylic pieces. I love a good clear acrylic piece. This is a really strong magnet that will stick directly on your pegboard. Gives you a little bit more freedom because it doesn't have to match within the pegs. These pieces, slightly more expensive than the white plastic pieces, but I think that they will work really well. They also had some that did hook into the pegboard. I threw a bunch of stuff in my cart. It was quite the cart. My husband's face when I came home was definitely surprised, but that's okay. Let's head home and let me show you everything I bought, and let's start putting together this brand new pegboard system. All right, and we are back in my craft studio. I have all of the supplies. I literally bought every different accessory that they had because I thought we could play around with where things fit on the board, how to organize it, and see how well it functions. Now, the truth is I don't currently have wall space. I have something on the wall space that I intend to put this on. So there's going to be some shuffling around the craft studio. So for now, we're going to assemble it right here. We're going to go over each and every different supply I bought, talk about how much it was, talk about how you should always catch it on sale, and kind of assemble this board. I'm super excited. I can't wait to dive in. Let's take a look at some of the different supplies. All right, so let's start out by going over all of the different parts I bought, talk about some of the prices and how you might use them. There were different pegboard sizes and different pegboard colors. I chose white. A lot of my craft studio is white, so I love that. And I chose the biggest pegboard just to maximize the possible space. You're definitely going to want to measure your space before you dive in and choose a pegboard, but this is the largest one. It is 22 by 30, and it cost $30, which I thought was very reasonable. It is metal. It is a nice magnetic piece. So if you are a fan of magnets and you're going to see some of these accessories are actually magnetic, that is fabulous. And I love that it has the ability to do both. My other really large pegboard that I love in my space is not magnetic. It's that typical like pressed wood MDF kind of feel. So this adds a new layer that I can use to organize in the space. The accessories, the most expensive accessory I bought were these storage bins. So these were $12.99. Everything that I got today was on sale for 40% off. And then of course, if you are a teacher or a member of the military or military spouse, you get additional percentages off of that. So these were a pretty darn good deal. These are super cute. So this is a storage bin. It has little loops that hook in to your pegboard system like this. I'll have to unwrap this as we get it set up. And then basically these bins slide out. They are teeny tiny, adorable. So you're not gonna be able to fit a ton of different things. I'm thinking really small bits and pieces. Beads, jewelry accessories, pom-poms, tiny washi tapes, just different things like that. This is going to be very cute. Love that. And I love that when you line them up, each set comes with 3. When you line them up, this piece on the top then serves as a shelf. So you can stack things on top of here and kind of put them all together. So I bought 2 sets of those. That would be 6 total. We're going to see how they kind of fit in and how we can organize them. Then the next most expensive thing that I purchased, I think were these clear pieces. So anytime you're purchasing clear acrylic, that's going to end up being a little bit more expensive. These were, I believe, $9.99 a piece. These are magnetic, so they can go anywhere on the board. I love a clear storage solution. One of the reasons for picking a pegboard, A, they are super functional and they allow you flexibility because you can rearrange how you're using it. And B, it's to display beautiful products, beautiful tools, beautiful things that inspire you in your space. So it's your most used tools and it's the ones that inspire you and bring you a lot of joy. So having a clear piece to display is a super great way to bring out some of that personality. So I bought a couple of those as well. All right, so a couple of different storage pieces. This is a storage bin is what they are calling it. It is a long extended version. Let me see if I can pop it open real fast and show you guys what it looks like. Again, this one is not magnetic. It has a divider in the middle, which I think is awesome. At first I was like, oh no, this is awesome because it allows you to organize a little bit better, keep things contained. I think this would be ideal for pens, pencils, markers, things like that, taller items. And this one was $7.99, not bad. And again, 40% off of that, and it will just simply hook in right there. So this is another great option. And along those same lines, I picked up these smaller bins. Sometimes I think the smaller ones are a little bit more versatile than the long pieces, just because there's going to be times that you need to organize in smaller groups. And so I like the smaller ones. I picked up 3 of them. I believe these are like $5.99. Let me double check. I think these are $5.99. And then this piece, they're calling this a storage shelf. It's going to be that same white plastic. This one was $6.99, much more shallow than the piece we saw right here. And this again is going to be just a great kind of shelf situation to organize things on the board. I'm so excited. I'm like dying to start putting things on the board. But let me show you some of the different hooks that I bought as well. Okay, so there were a lot of different hook options. I bought pretty much all of them. The ones I was very excited about were these. These are pegs, and I love these. I am actually thinking that I'm going to use this to display and to organize my materials to make planner charms, which is a newer part of my business. I love this as a display piece. This is great for hanging things off of, like mason jars, like different containers, like I don't know, there's so many things. Anything that you can hang, a peg is going to be really great. And I love that it has the thick part at the end because that's going to keep things from sliding off, which is going to be fantastic. So I actually got a couple of sets of those because I figured those are going to be really functional when you're picking up stuff to use on your pegboard and you're wanting to get organized. I would say kind of go for it. Buy all of the different accessories that you can. You can always return some. I have found people ask me about pegboard accessories all the time, and it can be tricky to find ones you like. So when you're at the store, buy what you think you're going to want, and then you can always return later. I picked up some different types of hooks. They had several different versions of hooks. This one is one of my favorites. I call it like a J hook because it just looks like a J. It's going to stick right on in there. This is really functional. I've used this to hold scissors before. This is probably the hook I use the most on my current pegboard. Just very, very versatile. Love those. Then they have some longer versions as well. So I have these particular hooks that are longer. What I have used these for in the past is actually creating my own shelves. So I've put these on the board. I've cut pieces of wood that I then lay on top of these. Is it secure permanently? No, it just sits on top and then I put supplies on top. But it's been very versatile, and it's a great way to kind of build your own shelving onto your pegboard if necessary. So keep that in mind. I don't plan to use them to hold shelves this time around. I think that these are going to hold different planner charms. So stay tuned for more info on that. Along the same lines, this one slightly different. This has a little bit more support to it. This is again, they're just calling this one a hook as well. And it's going to stick right in there. See how it has this flat part? Again, very, very great for holding a shelf. It has this lip here at the top that will hold it in, and also holding some different supplies, especially if you're going to stack supplies. Maybe you have several sets of scissors or several sets of tools that you can hang on one that makes sense. Then something like this will work really well. The loops are pretty darn cool. So this is a loop. Basically, you're going to put this longer piece and then click the loop on. These are fantastic tool holders, and I'll show you what I mean. And then the last bit I bought were some fun clips. These are usually great for displaying purposes. Maybe you are displaying samples, things like that. This is going to come in really, really handy. So I bought some of those. Most of the tools, most of the hooks and the tools and things like that started at, I believe, those were like $4.99, somewhere in there. Yeah, most of the hooks and tools and things are $4.99, $3.99. And again, I got them for 40% off. Tis the season right now for all things organization. So make sure you are checking out those sales. Okay, that's an overview of what I bought. I'm going to work on starting to arrange the board and kind of talk you through why I'm putting things where I'm putting them. Okay, this is going to be a do as I say, not as I do type of moment. I am unwrapping the pegboard. I highly suggest installing your pegboard before you start playing around with where everything is going to go. Mostly because when I do actually go to install this pegboard, I'm going to have to take everything off and install it and then put it all back on. So it's kind of an extra step. I, however, wasn't prepared to be taking down the things on the wall that I wanted to be taking down to put this pegboard up. It was a whole thing. So we're just going to set it up right here and then I will install it later on. Don't forget, it comes with pieces that will help you with the install. So there are anchors, especially if there is any sort of weight, of which there is, you're going to want to use the wall anchors and very thorough instructions. So keep those. Other than that, you're just going to start playing. My biggest recommendations would be this: the heavier things, the larger things, space those out on the pegboard. I tend to like larger things at the bottom just because it provides a weight. It just makes sense. And I like the most visual of the things that I am wanting to be enticed by. I like those kind of in the most visual areas, so the middle of the board. I also prefer to have an area where everything can kind of breathe. So make sure there's space around your supplies. Don't crunch everything together, or else it kind of defeats the purpose. It creates a ton of visual clutter, and you're not going to end up liking what it looks like in the end. What I love about pegboard systems is exactly this: you can change your mind. I thought that the pegs were going to be so fantastic. You guys, I ended up not using them at all. They just didn't work for what I wanted. I'm using some planner charms here to kind of measure out the distance that I'm going to need. And see, I'm going to adjust. So those were all pushed over to the left. That really didn't make sense. Let me just work out some visualization. I just want balance on the board. when you are using your pegboard system not only to provide function, but also to provide a visual piece to your craft space, to your craft room, to your craft studio. It's about balancing visually where things are going to go. So if I'm going to have something in the bottom left, it makes sense to balance it out with something in the upper right hand corner. I love the shallow shelf. I ended up liking it a lot more. This was a piece I figured I would return and actually ended up using it. It's nice because it does provide that shelf that you often need, but it doesn't take up a lot of visual space because it's more shallow. Big fan of that. In fact, I kind of wish I had gotten some more of those. I think that would have been really useful. I was super disappointed. I thought my planner charms would fit nicely on these pegs. They did not. So the pegs will not be making an appearance on this board, but these particular hooks worked out really well. I only grabbed one pack, so I'm actually going to push those all the way over to the left. They are fit nicely right underneath that shelf. And then I'm going to use the other style of hook. This one, again, would be great for building up an additional shelf, but I'm going to use it to hold additional planner charms, and I'm feeling pretty good with how the balance looks. Let's give a little tour before we start filling things in. Okay, before we start filling this in a little bit more, let me talk to you about some of the things that I am loving and some of the things I'm a little skeptical about. First of all, this bin right here I am loving because listen, hear that extra little clip? This particular bin has those little marks on the back, those little pieces that jet out, and that is going to be really helpful to give that a little bit more strength and have it stay in place, which I love. A few of the other pieces, specifically these, I'm a little bit worried that they will be loose because they shake pretty easily in here. We're going to have to see how those kind of build up. And this one also has the little indentions, and you hear it kind of snap into place, which is awesome. Anytime it's going to snap, that is going to work really well. So I brought in a couple of the planner charms that I've been working with to kind of get the distance right above here. We're going to start filling it in with a few supplies, a few charms. I'm not going to do the whole thing right now because obviously I'm going to want to put this onto a wall eventually, but I thought you guys might like to see the fill-in process. This is pretty cool. I love that the accessories were thought of from a crafting point of view. A lot of the times for pegboards, we are using pieces that were meant for a garage or a workshop of some sort. And these are going to be really functional for the types of things that we need and use on a regular basis. So that's going to be super cool. I'm going to clear out some stuff and we're going to get this filled in. So like I said before, my thought for this pegboard was to use it for supplies that I use to put together planner charms. It's a newer part of my business. I sell all these planner inserts and planner covers, and I recently started selling planner charms. They are so fun to make. And so that's going to organize those supplies. I'm starting with some acrylic samples. I do cut my charms from acrylic using my Glowforge, and I've been starting to collect lots of different samples so that I can order different types of acrylic and different colors and finishes and things like that. So I'm going to start off with a place to put all my samples. This is fantastic because they were all just sitting in bags inside a drawer where you couldn't see them. It's nice to be inspired by a little bit of color. So we're going to get that into place first, and I thought clear acrylic, perfect for that. These particular bins, I think I'm probably going to end up grabbing some more of these, perhaps, because this worked out really well to hold some of my jewelry pieces. All of the split rings, all of the different sizes that I use in order to put together the charms. I have silver and I have gold, so it was nice to have a lot of different bins. This is great because I can visually see when I'm running low with a particular size or color. So that was really, really helpful. Big fan of that. Down here, these are all the keychain loops I use. So one side silver, one side gold. I do kind of wish that this were clear. So this might be something that I switch out in the future. All right, so next are these particular tool holders, and this is what I love about pegboards. I'm just going to adjust where they are. I have a few tools that I'm going to use on a regular basis with this particular system, so I'm going to put them right there. See how they just fit perfectly? Loving that. It's very, very simple. A few extra supplies, some 3M tape, a few supplies for my Glowforge, including lens wipes. I know, odd things, but it's nice to have it all gathered up in one place, and adhesives that I also use from time to time. These I plan to fill with charms. Now, I'm just putting a few charms on here just as a demonstration. I still have some charms to cut for myself and then a lot more designs to come. So this is giving me plenty of room to expand in the future, which is something I'm wanting to do. So I'm putting the charms all the way across just for a visual point, but love, love, love how that's going to come together. That's going to hold so many charms. And I think I probably still have room to add a few more if necessary. This came out very clean, very organized, very visually impactful, and I'm absolutely loving it. It makes me want to start creating. It makes me want to start creating right away. All right, so here is the completed pegboard. Yes, I need to find a wall space for it, and I will do that. I am very pleased and very impressed with this pegboard system from Michaels. I think it is pretty affordable. I think it is versatile. I think it is designed with crafters in mind, which is what we all want in the first place. This is an amazing tool to help you get your space organized in this new year. Let me know, have you tried the new pegboards from Michaels? Have you tried a pegboard at all? Let me know what you think down below. I will have Michaels link down below and the pegboard system as well, so be sure to check that out in the description box. I want to give a huge shout out to my entire Patreon community. We're spending the month of January refreshing our planners and getting organized for the new year. If you want to join us, now is a fabulous time. So head on over to patreon.com/ScrappyWife to find a tier that works for you. All right. I hope that you have a fabulous day. And as always, keep it creative.